What brand of heating and air conditioning system is right for you? That's going to be our topic today. There are so many choices. There's about 150 brand names of air conditioning systems out there. That's a lot. But here's the funny part. There's only about 6 manufacturers making those 150 plus brand names. That's even crazier. Here's an example. So Rheem and Rude, same company, same exact product. Trane, American Standard, same company. Carrier, Bryant, same company. These manufacturers make a lot of other brands, but these are some of the biggest ones that you know out there. So Rheem and Rude, everybody knows those names. They're made by the same manufacturer. Trane, American Standard, same manufacturer on the same assembly line by the same people with the same parts, except for a few minor ones to help differentiate the look of the Trane from the American Standard. Who's the best? My opinion, from working at all ends of the spectrum in the air conditioning industry, I was an installer, I was a service technician, I own my own air conditioning company, I worked for 2 of the largest manufacturers in the world, so I got to see the different brands from all kinds of angles and perspectives. And unless you're looking for a specific option, like I'm looking for a system that diagnoses itself, or I'm looking for a manufacturer that's got this innovative coil, or they have this amazing blower housing. You know, Trane was famous for that with their Vortica. They completely changed the whole concept of what the blower looked like and how it was configured, which has benefited them. I think it's a really cool device, a really cool product. Does a lot of great things. But how crazy is no individual manufacturer, unless you're looking for those specific things, stands out when it comes to the functionality and the ability of the system to heat or cool. So Consumer Reports, just about every year they put out a report of the best brands based on service issues. When you look at this, you will find, for an example, maybe on one of them, and I'm not saying this is an exact rating, but maybe on one of them, you're going to find Trane number 1. And in the number 4 spot, you're going to see American Standard. You may see Rheem at number 3 and Rude at number 6. You may see Carrier at number 2 and Bryant at number 7. Why? Now those aren't specific rankings. But wait a minute. If Trane and American Standard and Rheem and Rude and Carrier and Bryant, they're made on the same assembly lines by the same people with the same parts, how can those brands be different when it comes to service? Now, let's think about it. If the product's the same, how could the service issues be greater in one than the other? Well, here's where logic comes into play. The manufacturer can build 100 different models of the same exact brand, the same exact product, and send it out to 100 different installation companies. And every one of those systems is going to function different. Some of them are going to break down more than others. Some of them are going to run better. Some of them are going to have higher capacities. Some of them are going to have lower capacities. And it's because of the people who are installing the equipment. That's the key. You think that I'm just bashing HVAC companies. I'm not. That's how I started. That's how I got to where I am today, as I started there. But the key is I'm trying to help. You know, the architect can build the house or design the house. The builder builds the house. The homeowner is the one that chooses how they want everything in the positions and set up. And I want this and I want that. And the HVAC company is the end person. They're the one that does the final touch to install it. And that's why I harp on this so much, because unfortunately, they tend to be the culprit 90% of the time. And it's a shame. And that's why we're doing these videos. I hope to educate not only the architects and the builders and the homeowners, but I'm hoping that I can open up some of the eyes of the HVAC companies out there, open the eyes to the people that are willing to learn. You know, my saying, and I talk about this in the company all the time, is you can teach the right person anything. You can't teach the wrong person anything. But how could this be? When we're talking about brands of air conditioning, it's because of the people that have the end result of what they're installing. So no matter what the brand, if the installation company does a crap job, the system will not work. And this is the key. Now, many of the reasons that some of the bigger names, you'll see them typically higher up on the chart. is because a lot of the bigger names like Trane, Lennox, and Carrier, they actually have higher requirements. They do things that require specific criteria of the people who are allowed to install them. Now, this is one reason that if you go on the internet and you search these HVAC companies online that sell stuff online, there's a few of them out there that's all they do. They just sell HVAC parts and supplies and new equipment and whatnot. You'll find that you're not going to find a Trane unit, at least not that I'm aware of, or a Carrier unit or a Lennox unit or some of the bigger names, because there could be some political, and there's always something political behind this. But the main reason is that they want to restrict who has the ability to install it so that this doesn't happen. So just because somebody has the name on the truck doesn't mean that they are the qualified person. And that's the big thing, is we want to regulate who has the ability to do these installations. Now, when you get into some other much higher end equipment, like the inverter systems, the two-stage systems, mini splits, not anybody can install these. Not anybody has the ability to. We want to make sure that they are properly trained, because guarantee what's going to happen is they're going to haphazardly install this and it's going to fail. And then what's going to happen is that that product is going to look bad. Now, I've talked about this in some of my other things where one of the manufacturers, and I'd go out to my HVAC clients when they had problems. And we talked about this in one of the other ones where they didn't even cut the hole in the plywood top when they set the air handler. Well, right away, the air conditioning company is, oh, this product's junk. It's sweating. It's doing this. It's doing that. Well, you didn't even cut a hole in the bottom of the stand for the air handler to sit on. How could it be the product? Or the big one is we would go up and they would have these 4 and 5 ton units with like a 12 and 14 inch return on the end of it. And that's like you running up Mount Everest with a straw to breathe out of your mouth. And then they would complain that the air handler was sweating and it's junk, and it's no. Well, I did this on another one, and I've always done a 14 inch on a 5 ton unit, and I've never had problems. No, nobody has complained to you, so you didn't think you had a problem. So it's key to find the right company. And how do you do that? You find podcasts like ProCalcs University. You find the YouTube videos like ProCalcs University. You do your research. Find these little things that are not a big deal, like we talk about manual T or manual D or manual S. And when someone is going to offer you a new product, a new brand, you want to ask them for the manual S that they did. That right there, if them even understanding what manual S is and being able to logically talk through that with you, is going to be the key for you to understand that they know what they're doing. Manual S is the way we select equipment. Now, when we're looking at different brands, to us, it really doesn't matter with ProCalcs when we're designing. If the customer wants Goodman versus a Trane, that's fine. But the key when it comes to the design is that technically not all manufacturers give us the same BTU capacity per ton. For instance, one manufacturer on a 3 ton, in order to get the right thing, when I do the manual S, because of the humidity, the elevation, the temperature, let's say I only have a 34,000 BTU load in the house, which is about just under 3 tons, or right at 3 tons. But a certain manufacturer at 3 tons, based on the humidity and temperature and elevation, I may have to go to a 3.5 ton in order to get the capacity requirements that I need. And there's a couple manufacturers that we stay away because of that. Now, that doesn't mean that manufacturer is bad. It just means that they don't provide as much BTUs per tonnage with that combination that I need in order to properly design that system. But for us, the key is also installing. If the company installing the product doesn't know what they're doing, any product, whether it's a Trane, a Lennox, a Carrier, a Goodman, a Rheem, a Rude, any of these, just Mitsubishis, the mini splits, the Daikins, any of these products that you have out there, it doesn't matter what the brand is. It doesn't matter the manufacturer. They're going to come out in the end, and the homeowner is only going to say, I'm never going to install this brand again because it's crap. And it's not because, I should say never. 90% of the time, it's not the manufacturer. It's the people installing it. So are there some better brands out there when you're looking at higher end? Absolutely. Absolutely, there's different ones out there, and it's what you're looking for. If you're looking for inverter systems, some of your big names like Trane, Lennox, and Carrier have some of the better inverter systems out there, the best technology on them. But for us, when it's installing, we don't really care about the brand name. One, what we care about is what can the consumer, what can the builder or the HVAC company in that area, what can they get? What product can they get? The key to us is what manufacturer at that tonnage, at that SEER rating, at that capacity is going to give the best bang for the buck for the homeowner. And this is why having a third-party HVAC design company do the load calculations with the Manual S to select the right piece of equipment, the right combination, the right air handler with the right condenser. But the key, regardless of what the equipment and the brand is that we recommend or that the company would recommend, and we'd of course like you to go with ProCalcs, is making sure that you get the right company to install it.
So just do the best deal you can, negotiate with the person, make sure that they know what they're doing, do your homework, watch ProCalc University videos on YouTube, listen to our podcast, do your research so you can ask those few questions that when it comes time for you to choose the right company and the right HVAC system, you've protected yourself. But hey, if you have any questions or want us to help you out, don't hesitate to email us at tom@procalcs.net. Our team of amazing people will help you to get a load calculation, do a manuals on your house, to give you the documentation that you need to give to the HVAC company to make sure they do a great job.